This story takes place in Bnei Brak. A brilliant Torah student, Eliyahu, invests his whole being into prayer and learning, while his wife Miriam invests her entire energies into raising their children. A regular couple without stories. One day Miriam gives birth to a baby boy, but doctors immediately diagnose a heart dysfunction, which endangers his life greatly. Only a very unique operation can save him, but since it's very delicate and dangerous, even the best doctors in Israel don't dare perform it. Medical experts suggest the parents to bring their baby to America, where a very competent doctor possesses the necessary capabilities. The community rallied to help the young couple finance their trip and the operation's expenses. A few weeks later, Eliyahu and Miriam get to the hospital in Los Angeles. They're heart-pounding, reciting prayers filled with hope that this operation will save their baby's life. The couple approach the secretary, but her behavior is unusual. She makes several phone calls, gets up and goes from one office to the next, then she sits down again and makes phone calls while looking stressed. The parents suspect that something is not right, but since they don't speak English, they can't understand what she's saying. And then, at one point, a religious Jew arrives. Incredibly so, he speaks English and Hebrew fluently and accepts to translate the conversations. After listening to the secretary's explanation, he turns towards the parents and says, apparently, the doctor is not satisfied with the payment. He says that he's missing $100,000. Eliyahu can't believe it. But that's impossible. I already collected the sufficient amount of money. There must be a mistake. Ashamed, the secretary answers, I'm really sorry, but the doctor says that your son's problem is worse than he thought, and therefore the operation is most costly. It's been over half an hour that I'm speaking with him, but he doesn't want to change his mind. If he doesn't get the rest of the money today, he will not perform the operation. Eliyahu is astonished. What? How do you want me to find another $100,000 today? It took me several weeks to gather the original sum. Tell me that this is a joke. Could we at least push off the operation for a few days? The secretary is so embarrassed that she has tears in her eyes and she says, I'm truly sorry, but the surgery must take place today. As the doctor is leaving the country tonight, it's now or never. At this point, Miriam cries hysterically, and Eliyahu doesn't know what to say. Touched by the couple's distress, the religious Jew thinks for a moment and says, listen, the richest Jew in town lives a few blocks down. He's not religious, but I know he's generous. Here's his address. Go see him. You have nothing to lose. Eliyahu thanks him for his help and goes right away to the Jew's house. A few minutes later, he gets to a big house. He's about to ring the doorbell, but right at this moment, an elegant man gets out of the house. Eliyahu tries to introduce himself, but since he can't find his words in English to say Torah student, he says without thinking the equivalent in Yiddish, Junger Mann, hoping that the man will understand. He tells him, hi, I'm a Junger Mann from Israel, but the man cuts him off and gives him an envelope. Okay, this is for you. Have a good day. Sorry, but I'm in a rush. Goodbye. And he gets rapidly inside his limousine before Eliyahu could add anything. All this happened in only a few seconds. Eliyahu had just arrived. He didn't realize what had just occurred. The wealthy man did not even hear his request. He opens the envelope, and then he asks himself if he's not dreaming. It contains a check of $100,000. A stranger had just given him exactly what he needed. An incredible miracle. Crying with joy, he hurries, returns to the hospital. He gets to the reception, completely out of breath. He gives the check to the secretary, and she warns the doctor that the money has arrived. Right on time, because he was about to leave. Miriam was under the impression that her heart was about to stop beating. She was crossed by all these emotions. A few hours later, the parents are told that the operation is a complete success and that their baby is safe. What a relief. Back in Israel, Eliyahu and Miriam organize a big meal in thanks of the Creator. And they are telling the guests all about the event. Everyone is impressed and completely mind-blown by this unique story. But a mystery persists. No one understands why did the wealthy man give such a great sum of money to a perfect stranger. After the meal, one of the guests approached Eliyahu and told him, I think that your mystery solves mine. Tell me how you introduced yourself to this wealthy man. Eliyahu answers, actually, I didn't really have the chance. I just told him that I was Torah learning. I don't speak English so well, so I said it in Yiddish, Junger Mann. But why are you asking me this question? The man smiles and explains, this is incredible. You won't believe it. My father traveled around the world for years in order to raise funds for his Torah institutions. For 6 months, he was in touch with this wealthy man by calling him regularly, by sending him mails, pamphlets. One day his efforts were rewarded. He received a message telling him that he would receive a big donation, that he would have to come pick it up in person in America. A few days later, my father is in his hotel and he's getting ready to meet his benefactor. He takes the elevator, but he gets stuck for more than an hour, thus missing his appointment at 4 p.m. He gets to the wealthy man's house, but he's told that he'd already left and that one can find him at his office. My father then takes a taxi, praying that he won't be late. After many efforts, he finally manages to meet him and he introduces himself. "Hello, my name is Shalom Jungerman from Israel. We spoke several times over the phone." And the man answers, "Jungerman? Someone with that name already came to see me. He had a meeting with me at 4 p.m. I gave the donation to him." And then Eliyahu is floored. The miracle is even greater than he thought. He had arrived exactly at the time that the meeting was scheduled at the wealthy man's house by giving precisely the right name to receive the check of $100,000, exactly the sum of money that he needed to save his son. An incredible divine providence that can rarely be seen. The next day, Eliyahu and Shalom Jungerman went to consult Rav Zilberstein to know if, according to halacha, Eliyahu might have stolen directly the sum that Shalom was supposed to receive. By hearing the story, the Rav adjudicated in Eliyahu's favor. But he adds that the donor must be informed of what happened, so that he won't suspect that the two men tried to obtain twice the amount of money, $100,000. Shalom accepts the Rav's decision, and 2 weeks later he receives a check for $120,000. The wealthy man was so touched by his integrity and so delighted to have been able to save a baby's life that he really wanted to fulfill his initial promise to give a donation with extra to compensate for the pain caused by this story. Absolutely marvelous. Shabbat Shalom.